Welcome back to Two Brothers Comics. Today we're going to talk about our goals for 2021. If you're interested in seeing what those are, hit the like button while the intro plays and stay tuned.
So today we're going to be discussing our 2021 comic book collecting goals, all of our channel goals, and some of our personal goals for the next year. I'm Nick, this is Dustin, and we're joined today by comic pro Justin Birch. Let's kick it off right off the bat. Let's start with our collection goals. Dustin, why don't you talk about a few of your collection goals you have going into 2021?
Some of the single issue books that I want to pick up. It was really hard to decide because I picked up so much this year. It didn't leave a lot of meat on the bone for me, but there were a few that I want to pick up. Hulk Annual #1, being that I'm a huge Steranko fan, to me that is the epitome of his greatness with a comic book cover. So that's one I want to pick up. I'd love to get a Yellow Label signed one, but we'll see. Batman 189, the first Silver Age Scarecrow, was one that I tried to get all year. It just didn't happen, so that's one I want to pick up next year. I would like to pick up another copy of Submariner #5. I sold mine this year. I searched for it, found a great deal on a nice copy, and I had to let that go to feed another book. So I'd like to pick that up next year. And then the end-all, be-all, I don't know that I'll pick it up, but if I were to pick it up, it would be the biggest thing ever, would be an Avengers 4. That would pretty much have me set on my Captain America collection. Outside of any Golden Age stuff, there really wouldn't be anything left for me to obtain in the Silver Age Jack Kirby Captain America section if I got that book. So
right on. So for me, I don't have any huge individual books I want to pick up outside of maybe Batman Adventures #12. I just really like the book. I love the story of Harley Quinn and kind of where she comes from. So that's kind of been always one of those books that I want to pick up, but I just don't know if it's worth dropping the, $900-800 for a decently graded copy. But as far as single issues, that's kind of where I'm at. So I do want to complete a couple of my collected edition runs. I do want to complete the Star Wars, maybe the Venomnibus runs. And now I have to complete my Invincible run. Thanks to Justin, I was given one and 2. Now I have to complete all of them. I think there's Justin, 14 or 15?
Yeah, it's up there. The good news is they don't make the books anymore, or they don't make the series anymore. So there's an end point.
Yeah. So that would actually be my largest completed run in a collected issue. So, but that's really all I want to do as far as my big goals. As far as single issues, I do have a couple of action items I want to complete with my collection. But Justin, let's talk about some of the books you want to pick up.
So there's only one single issue that I'm hoping to get next year, and that's Amazing Spider-Man 129.
Right.
I had an opportunity to get it last year at the beginning of January, but instead I decided to go and pick something else up instead.
that was probably a good choice.
All right. So do you guys have any actual action items you want to complete for your collection or anything like that? Dustin, go ahead.
Yeah, I do. So I made a lot of headway this year on my Mirage Studios TMNT run. I'm a little over halfway there. I've got all the big books out of the way, aside from some third, fourth, second printings on some, which I'm not worried about. I want to definitely finish my Mirage Studios Turtles run, as well as the IDW Mirage hardcover deluxe edition. I want to complete those. I've got 2 right now, and I'd like to get the rest of those and actually finish reading the entire run. So by the end of the year, I want to have all the individual issues, all the hardcovers, and have read it all.
Yep. That's a pretty heavy task, because how many issues is in the first volume?
62, I believe.
62. That's not that bad. You could do that in a couple months.
Yeah. Like I said, as far as the hardcovers, I mean, I've got 1 and 2. Those are the most expensive ones. And I got those for cover price. So finding the other ones at cover price is going to be a problem. And then the rest of the issues, I mean, as long as the Turtles start to die down in fandom from all the spec, I should be able to obtain the rest of the books that I need relatively cheap. So,
yep. Right on. Justin, what about you? What are some of the action items you want to take care of?
Yeah, so comics-wise, I think it's no secret what my where my heart belongs. I want to finish my X-Men run.
Yep.
Got like 18 books to go. That it's a huge goal of mine to cross all 18 of those off my list by this time next year.
Those will probably be done in just a few months, I'd bet.
Yeah. I mean,
it just depends if I want to buy them off eBay, right? Like,
well, I mean, when you've got us constantly on the hunt for you too, I mean that helps your chances. So
that does not hurt, and I'm not upset by that.
So when you're doing this, right? You've really only bought from comic shops or cons. I mean, does it matter if we picked them up for you, or is this something where you wanted to individually touch each issue first, or you just didn't want to go out eBay hunt?
I think I'm not opposed to doing it on eBay. I just want to feel like I'm getting a good deal, which,
Gotcha.
It's possible. You just have to be really patient.
Yep. Right on.
See, I'm the opposite. I feel like eBay's cheating. Personally, I'm a hunter in every sense of the word, but I enjoy the thrill of the hunt for the books. Walking into a shop knowing, okay, I'm looking for this, and this first, back issues, digging through and finding them. I don't have a problem if I'm searching around on Instagram and one pops up there. I still consider that hunting. Same thing with like an auction on YouTube. Every now and then I'll purchase one there if it's at a good deal, because it's still you're not just typing it in and then seeing 1,000 of them pop. I mean, you still have to it's still kind of like a hunt, but I don't know. For me, I feel like eBay's cheating.
All right. So for me, my collection action items were a little bit different than you guys's. I actually want to press my big books and get them graded. My Star Wars #1, my 42, some of the other, I don't want to say big keys or huge keys, my TMNT #4. I want to go ahead and get those graded, pop them in, get them pressed, pop them in a slab, whether it's CBCS or CGC. And that way, one, they're secure, and two, if I need to sell them, I can do so and get as much out of them as possible. And that leads me to my next kind of action item where I really want to condense my collection down. I just went in today, checked out where I'm storing all of my short boxes. I literally have room for no more short boxes. And at the beginning, when we started collecting, I bought a whole bunch of fluff. So what I really want to do is start getting rid of some of that fluff, some of the stuff I don't truly love, and really narrow down my collection into the things that I truly value, the things I truly want. And that's why I want to get some of those bigger keys pressed so I can fund buying, pressed and graded, I should say, so I can go out and fund some of the bigger books like the Harley Quinn, or the first appearance of Harley Quinn. I'd love to be able to get like a Hulk 181, the real first appearance of Wolverine. But obviously that's going to take some time, but I really want to narrow down the collection to those books I truly love, I truly appreciate, and not just have the comics just to have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can appreciate that. And also I can piggyback off that. I mean, I was literally thinking the same thing today as I was putting books away. I noticed that literally every short box I have is slap full over here, to the point where I'm now laying books on top of the other books and just sitting the lid on top. And now even that's not working. So, and I don't have a lot of room left either. And, same thing like you said, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff in there that if it were to, if I were to walk in here and it just wasn't there, I wouldn't even notice it. Wouldn't even notice. The hard thing is, how do you get rid of that stuff? Yeah. Because if you don't want it, who else wants it? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, it's not even so much like I'm talking. I have some bigger books in here, and I say bigger books like more than dollar bin books that like I bought it because I found a good deal. I'm like, oh, that's great. But it's like, do I truly value that book, right? Do I truly value? And there are a ton of those, right? I mean, I have, like off the top of my head, like Secret Wars #1. It's not a big book. It's a $15, $20 book, but I have several copies because I'm like, well, I'm going to buy, whenever I see them in hopes that Secret Wars one day becomes like a movie. But I'm like, I really don't care about that. If it stays a $15, $20 book for 10 years, so there's a couple of those taking up space. And it's not just that one. It's many of them, right? Yeah. Some variant covers I bought because I really loved them, and people still like them, but it's like, okay, at the time I thought that was extremely cool, but now there are so many of those where it's like,
I've got that kind of stuff too. And I don't know, maybe we can work together to figure out a way to help each other condense our collections down. But I definitely agree that that's something I said last year I wanted to do.
Yep.
And I did to an extent, but
well, and we stopped a lot of our random auction buyings because we would go on auctions and buy so many.
We would outbuy everybody else there and fight back and forth on, books bidding each other up. I mean, and then the FOMO buys. I mean, I'm glad that both of us have been able to get away from that completely. I mean, that was a huge killer. That was something we both said last year we wanted to stop doing. And, we were able to do that. So that was good. But yeah, I definitely, I can agree with you trying to get rid of some of the fluff and then it kind of gets back to, when you're buying your weekly books and like the Batman series, I've got a whole short box of the current Batman run. And it's like, well, what am I going to do with all these though? You have them to have them now.
So Justin, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, you've been collecting comics longer than both of us combined.
Yeah, I get it. One of my goals for this year is to definitely define my collection, define where I want it to go and what pieces in it, whether they be comics or toys, make me happy, and get rid of the rest to fund the stuff that does make me happy.
Yeah, because you did a really big thing this year, and I don't know if it's something you're going to talk about later, but your Star Wars Black collection.
Yeah, just within the past couple weeks, I've sold off all of my in-box Star Wars Black figures. I sold off my entire Marvel Figure Arts collection, just so I would have money and space to fund my new Hot Toys growing collection.
Your new addiction.
I didn't want to say addiction.
I'm just hoping that that helped you so that you can start buying, better stuff than Spider-Man. I know that's probably the bottom rung of the ladder where you start with Hot Toys, and I'm really hoping to see you actually buy some good Hot Toys this year.
What's wrong with Spider-Man?
Oh man. So again, those are my two big things. I think you said it really well, Dustin, focusing my collection. So Justin, what about you? Any additional action items or anything like that you really want to take into consideration this year?
Yeah, so I've only got two more things. One is, once that X-Men run is done, I gotta focus on something. I gotta have a direction and where I want to go. I'm gonna start Daredevil. Nothing big. Like I'm gonna wait till there's sales at comic shops or they're having sales on back issues, and I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna start because I don't have very many from Volume 1. So yeah. Starting out, I think it should be pretty easy, pretty accessible.
How many issues total?
I have no idea. I think it's under 500.
Okay.
And I think Daredevil 1, it was already it's Daredevil 1, but I think that book kind of blew up this year a little bit too. So great timing.
Well, it's definitely going to be blown up now that he's going to be in Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, I'm going to be in Spider-Man.
Everybody's back in Spider-Man. Right on. All right. So,
I only have one more. The last thing for me is I want to go back and I want to try to acquire some of the older Hot Toys, specifically a Revenge of the Sith Light Side Anakin or a Dark Side Anakin, a Revenge of the Sith Obi-Wan Kenobi. Or I really, really want a Phantom Menace Darth Maul.
Ooh, that'll be nice. No Jar Jar Binks?
Fortunately, they have not made a Jar Jar Binks Hot Toy.
I will contact Sideshow and see if I can make that happen for you.
I'd buy it too. That's the part that makes me angry. All right, so next up, we've got the professional or personal goals for 2021. I'm going to start this one off first. That's a very simple one. I want to read more. There's a ton of content out there. I should be getting an iPad so I can make that easier. I want to read more comics. I want to read more novels. I just want to read more.
Yep, and that's something literally that one of my two, right? The same exact thing. And I've had a discussion about iPads and what digital comics can do for your ability to read. And that was absolutely one of mine, read more indie comics specifically. And I've been like the last month and a half, I've been able to read back the DC issues, some of the best indie runs, and I'm going to continue that. And that was one of my biggest goals, is to read more comics.
Yeah, so I had that on my list as well. And I know you guys are doing the iPads and that kind of thing. I'm probably not going to be doing an iPad. They're just too expensive. But I did get a book lamp for Christmas. You just clip it onto your book. So my wife said that that should take care of me trying to use the excuse that Nick did of being able to read in bed. So I'm all set now to read my floppies. No, but I did get a book lamp. That was something my kid picked out for me. He thought it would be something that Daddy could use. But I had reading more back issues as well. Like I said, I want to read the entire Mirage Studios run. I want to read some of the IDW run of Turtles up until, I don't enjoy it anymore, I guess. But I definitely would like to go back and read more Batman. I'd love to be able to get some of the Captain America omnibus and read through those. There's a few of those that I'd like to get. So that's probably the route I'm going to be taking, is just buying a couple of omnibus here and there, which I know eventually will add up to the price of an iPad, but I'm able to stretch that over a year instead of one lump sum, which is harder for me to do sometimes. But that's a goal I think we all have. I'd like to see Justin definitely succeed at it, because I think if he can get 2 books in a week, then he's succeeded at his goal.
I get excited just thinking about reading 2 books a week.
Yep, absolutely. Something else I had on here is I want to continue to keep my pull list at a manageable dollar amount weekly. A lot of this year, I would go in there and my pull list is $50, $60, $65, sometimes $70 a week. That's outrageous. It is absolutely outrageous for me personally with my budget. So for me, the sweet spot's about 30 to 35 bucks a week. That's a good place for me as a manageable budget. Some steps I've taken is getting rid of titles that I've noticed that I haven't read the last few issues, getting rid of variants, only buying 1 copy, not buying all these crazy second and third printings, even if it was just a cover buy. I know I'll still cover buy some, but I've really been able to cut that down a lot. But yeah, that's another big one for me, is making sure that I keep my pull list a lot more manageable for my budget.
Yep. And I think that's something we've all kind of been working on. Maybe me and you and I. Justin, he's still buying crazy books.
Books I'm not even reading. I'll read them in 7 years, and maybe this year, if I read more, I'll run out of stuff to read.
I don't think that will happen.
All right. So the next thing that I want to get done this year is I believe it or not, I don't have a CLZ account.
Ooh.
So I want to get set up with that. I want to move over my the way I do log the comics, my comic collection, over to there. I think it'll be easier for me in the long run, as far as when I'm out looking for issues and keeping a better running total of what I have.
Yep.
And on top of that, and I think this kind of ties into that, what you guys can't see behind the camera is the mess of stuff that's here. So I really want to get my basement, my collecting area, my collecting room cleaned and organized in just kind of a better feng shui layout.
Right. Yeah. You just organize your collection as a whole.
Correct.
And when you get ready to do that CLZ, man, I know of a channel who has a great video that they have on the channel that talks about how to get that up and running and some of the cool things you can do with it. So when you're ready, just let me know and I'll point you in the direction.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And I think that'll be cool for you, man. You'll enjoy that, because you can also set up like wish lists on there too, so that you can keep a list of things on there that you want to be on the hunt for too. So I think that'll help you out with your Daredevil stuff, maybe.
Absolutely. That's why I'm wanting to do that.
So the next one for me, it's a personal goal, kind of a channel goal, I guess, but I definitely want to, before the end of the year, obviously we're going to hopefully be moving, and I'll be able to do a whole new setup. I want to build an actual studio, and I want to upgrade my camera and my lights to the stuff that Nick is using, so that we have the same quality of footage. That's definitely something that I wanted to do this year, but it just didn't happen. So next year, I want to definitely upgrade the quality of my studio, as well as the recording equipment that I'm using to make the content.
Yep, absolutely. Not a bad goal. I fully endorse that goal. Justin, any other goals for you?
Yeah, so these are kind of my professional goals as a comic book creator, as a letterer for 2021.
As a comic book professional.
Comic pro. I want to letter a miniseries. I hope to letter a miniseries for Boom or Image. Those are two credits that I desperately want to add to my resume, and I just haven't had the chance to do so yet. So something that I'm hoping to make happen in 2021.
Well, I know of a channel who's going to be doing a show with a guy that might be able to help you out with that. I don't know, but I'll point you in the right direction later on that.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
We've got your back in every area.
Oh man, that's weird.
In addition to that, I'd like to get another DC credit so I can double from 1 to 2.
Not bad.
Nice.
All right. So for me, my next and kind of final personal goal, I said this last year, I was not able to do it, but this year I think I really have the buy-in to do it. It's learn to press my own comic books. And the reason why I want to do that, and I'm really going to push for that at the beginning of this quarter, one, my wife can use it for her shirts and things like that. But two, it's going to save me a bunch of money as I kind of go through the dwindling of my comic book collection, pressing some of these books, making sure that before I send them, I'm able to do so. And, it generally is between $15-$20 with shipping per comic book to get them pressed at some places. For the price of 10 books to get pressed, I could buy my own, teach myself. So I think fiscally it makes sense. But that's going to be what I want to do. I really think this year at the beginning of the quarter, I'm going to really focus on pressing my own books.
Yeah, I mean, that's something like I would love to do, but I don't think that I don't trust myself enough. I mean, I think even if I did $100 books and they came out perfect, it would still be hard for me to put a book that was, $100, $150 book into that press and do it, even if I was 100% certain. So
yeah,
good luck to you. I'm not going to use you. I'll keep using who I'm using, but if
that's fine.
You start turning them out good, then maybe I'll give you a shot. But
well, no free pressing.
Yeah, I've got one last personal goal to add to the list. This kind of goes back to talking about the storage issues. After condensing my collection down, I want to better store my comics. I want to keep bags and boards on hand a lot more than I have been in the past. I did really good this year. At all times, I had some extra bags and boards sitting around. I'd say after halfway through the year anyway. But I also want to, there's a lot of books I haven't rebagged and boarded yet that need to be rebagged and boarded. And I want to buy a good amount of fullbacks and some nice Mylars. I've got a bunch of books that I would like to put in Mylars just so that they present better. Not stuff that I want to get CGC, but I still want it to look really good. And the Mylar effect does wonders. So, just the rebag and the reboarding, some storage stuff.
Right on. Justin, what about you? Any final goals for personal or pro?
My last goal this year is, as of right now, I have 199 listed credits on Comic Vine. At this time next year, I would like that number to be 251 listed credits. If that happens, that would put me at 52, which averages out to one book a week. So I would like in 2021 there to be one book a week with my name on it.
Right on.
That's a good one, man.
Well, I mean, right now, sometimes there's 2 or 3 books coming out with your name on it a week. So that, I mean, it might average out still.
It's inflating the numbers.
Every week, somebody needs to have a Birch book in hand. So our final set of goals that we're going to talk about are going to be our channel goals. I know we've all set goals that we want to attain this year. Nick and I set some goals last year that honestly I thought were a little far-fetched, but we absolutely annihilated every one of them. And it was really cool to see our growth and be able to hit these goals that I just thought were crazy. It was kind of hard for me to pick some goals this year. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say first, because I just kind of looked at, we did so much this year. Yeah. It was hard to think of an attainable set of goals for the channel this year. So what do you guys got?
So for me, this is an easy one. I would like to appear in 52 Two Brother Comics videos. One a week.
Now, are we talking about the Babble-on, or are we talking recorded, edited?
It does not matter. Any sort of combination to get me to that number 52.
All right. Yeah. I mean, right now, I mean, consistently, we're doing the new comic book day, and so that gives you a shot at being on 2 a week sometimes. Yeah. So we should be able to get you there.
So for me, on the back end of things, I do a lot of the stuff. So this is where I'm pretty heavy on my channel goals. One of the big things I want to do is really focus on growing what we've only done a few of that we've not really pushed at all, is the audio version of the Comic Book Babble-on, and really push that in the podcast platform. Make sure we focus on that while we're doing those, because I think that's a lot of great conversation we do. And I think the ability to stream those on Spotify or Apple podcast, or even Amazon podcast, things like that. That's one of my big goals. I really want to push that this year, and in continuing that, also, upgrading our audio equipment, things like that, specifically for me, is one of my big goals for the year, right? I've got the camera, I've got the lights, I've got all these other things. Next step is just taking that audio to the next. So for me, pushing that podcast platform, I think, is going to be really beneficial for us.
Yeah, absolutely. We initially started doing this, and the podcast was our original idea even before we became Two Brothers Comics officially. We talked about the podcast platform. So I'm definitely glad to see us moving in that direction for sure. I think that definitely opens us up to an entire new audience.
Yep.
So I think that'll be something that, we can drive people to the podcast, and use the podcast to drive people to the channel, and back and forth. And before you know it, the whole world's collecting your way. And, that's the goal.
Well, and I think also it just provides an alternate form of content for people, right? I mean, that's what we want to do. And I think podcast last year or the year before that, I mean, there was only 750,000 podcasts out there, which sounds like a lot. But if you compare that to the number of YouTube channels and the number of hours of content that are being uploaded to YouTube every single minute, it literally is next to none in the podcast platform. So that's a space where I really think we could provide some additional content, and hopefully see some growth. Because I mean, that Babble-on we do every Saturday night, it's a lot of people find it pretty entertaining. So, and you don't necessarily have to see it to get all the good conversation.
Right. So last year I set our sub count goal for me at 500. You said 1,500. Right now, as it sits, we are right at the brick of 2,000.
Yep.
Today. So obviously that's not something that I'm worried about us hitting. I think it would be great for us to be able to be sitting this time next year at 5,000 subscribers. I'm not sure if that's setting us an unattainable goal or not. It's hard to tell because, as we all know, it only takes one thing to pop and you're there. So I think that would be something that would be really, really cool and something to be super proud of. And inside of 2 years to be at 5,000.
Yep. So I know you said 5,000. You said 500 last year. I tripled that number last year. I'm not going to go that far this year, but by end of 2021, I really want us sitting right at 8,000. I think 8,000 is something. I think we can do it. I think we push out the content we want to throughout the next year, what we're planning. I think it is absolutely attainable, right? So my goal is sitting right at 8,000 this time next year. And that is not something where I just said just to kind of one up you. That is absolutely something that I had sitting right here on the note. So very first thing is channel 8K. That's where I want to be sitting.
That would be awesome. And I mean, for us to hit that 8K, that would mean, to hit the 8K, it'd be super helpful if we were sitting around 5K by July 1st, which would make one of Justin's goals happen. So
absolutely. I want desperately to referee the boxing match between the two of you.
So 5K by July 1, we will do a boxing match. I don't know how I agreed to this, but it will happen.
Steam's going to get let off in that one.
All right, so one of my goals for the channel for 2021 is to help grow the 2BC brand. I don't know how I want to do that yet, whether that be thinking of something outside of the box, like maybe a Twitch stream where everyone just watches me play video games. I don't know. I haven't. It's kind of a broad idea and a broad goal. I get that, but it's something I want to help you guys do.
Well, it's not just us, right? You're a part of this now, and every Saturday night, new comic book days, all that good stuff. So we, as Dustin's saying, we definitely, you do it every Saturday night and every Wednesday. So
my next channel goal would be to just continue doing what we're doing now, and that is continue to be consistent with putting out regular content. We've gotten pretty good at keeping things moving on a schedule. And I think that definitely helps people catch the content as it's coming out. They start to realize that, okay, Monday this comes out, Tuesday this comes out. So I think continuing on that and trying to improve on putting things out on a set schedule and being consistently consistent the way we have been. I think that's definitely something that we need to continue to work on, and it will help us feed the other channel goals in our growth.
Yep. And alongside consistent and growth and things like that, one of the things, I started briefly on the back end of things, just have not completed, is I do want to focus on that website build. And the reason why I want to do so is because I really want us to focus on getting more into the comic book reviews. And we've discussed some other avenues for that, whether that's additional video content or whether that's through more of a review site type deal. But I think the comic book reviews are something where we all read a little bit of something different. We have different taste. We have a very broad taste. We have different opinions on things than most people who do review comics. And I think that would be a great way for us to provide something additional to people through the website or additional video content. So that kind of combines two into one, really getting into those comic book reviews, whether that's new books or some old favorites. Definitely something I want to focus on.
All right, my last channel goal for 2021 it's a simple one. I think I would just like to make more videos for the channel. I started out earlier in 2020, and I kind of lost my way. I got busy and stuff started piling up, and I just stopped doing it. But it's something that I think I just need to find my niche, find the type of video that I want to start doing, and run with it.
Yeah, and that's important to really enjoy what you're doing, because we've done many videos where it's like, we don't really care for it, and it shows. I think your bloopers are the just do videos of nothing but you trying to record videos.
Cool. There we go. And then from that, we can spin those off to reaction videos of me trying to record videos.
There you go.
Hey, maybe your niche is you're our review guy, your reaction guy.
My last goal for the channel, and again, if we succeed in this one, we will succeed in, I think, in everything else that we have set, and that is just to find our niche. I want us to find what it is that we do better than everyone else. The one thing that everybody comes to Two Brothers Comics to watch. I don't think we've found that yet. I don't think we've had that that string of videos that have really taken off. That says, okay, this is where we need to focus our attention because this is what people enjoy from us. So that is something that I think it's important for us to do.
Yeah.
And the hard part is there's no way to really find out what that is except failing 100 times first.
Yep.
You can't succeed at that one until you fail every time leading up to it, and you never know what it's going to happen. But I'm hoping that happens for us this year.
And to that very point, and I know you probably don't know who this is, but there's somebody called Mr. Beast on YouTube. 20, 30, 40 million, almost 50 million subscribers at this point, maybe. I don't know. But he did content for 7-8 years. And it was only within the last few that he actually sustained or had the sustainable growth that he's seen now, right? And one of the biggest names on the platform. So, I mean, it just takes time, right? It takes 1,000 failures, like you said. It took one video of him counting to 100,000 before he broke into it, right? It took him 40 hours to count there, but he recorded himself doing it, uploaded it, in one of his most watched videos.
Wow. Well,
so,
I mean, and we know someone personally that happened to this past year. He had been doing YouTube for a couple of years, and he pretty much got up to where we are now after a couple of years, and then all of a sudden, one video took off, and he's sitting at over 10,000 now. Yeah. It'd be nice to be able to rub a crystal ball and figure out what it is, so we can just jump right to it. But I guess that's where the work comes in. You gotta just keep on pushing and moving towards whatever that is, while failing the entire way there.
That'll work, man. That'll work. Maybe Justin is our key to success.
Well, I suddenly feel very bad for everyone here right now.
All right, guys, so let us know down in the comments what you think about our goals for 2021 are. What are some of your goals you have for 2021? We'd love to be able to document that, and that way this time next year when we do a recap, you could follow up with your goals. Let us know how you did. And do you have any goals for the channel for us? What could we do to provide more of an enjoyable content or more of an enjoyable experience for you guys? Because at the end of the day, this is what this is about. It's for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on the notification bell. Thank you for being the best part of Two Brothers Comics. And as always, collect your way.